Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to today's session, the 33rd edition of the Virtual Leadership Seminar. And we want to start with prayers. Father Lord, we thank you for today as we gather to impact ourselves with this Virtual Leadership Seminar. We call for your guidance and assistance, wisdom and knowledge to understand and impact each other with this knowledge. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, honorable members from Ghana, South Africa, and all over the world, welcome you to today's session of the Virtual Leadership Seminar. Today is our 33rd edition. 33rd edition, and our guest speaker is Mr. Selorm Adade. We have been holding this session since 2022 January, and it is an initiative to bridge the gap of distance to allow for sharing of knowledge on various subject matters, regardless of where you are anywhere in the world. And every session, as you already know, is recorded for the archives. Today, we have a young man who is a professional in his field and has decided to share his knowledge with us. This session should have been paid for. Honestly, it should have been paid for, but he's giving it to us. I wouldn't say for free, but it is out of benevolence as a committed youth group. He wants to share with us on Beyond the Walls, making organizational value stick. And Selorm Adade is a governance, risk, and compliance professional. So he's allowed to speak for how long possible he can, even if it is 1 hour, 3 hours, we don't have a problem. But after his presentation, we'll take questions and answers. After his presentation, we'll take questions and answers. Just to give you a short background of who Selorm Adade is. Selorm Adade is a graduate of Old Technical University who did HND, Banking and Finance, and went to do his top-up. And he as well holds masters in his field of study. He's a professional, and today he has come to share knowledge with us. And at this point in time, I would invite him to take the floor and make his presentation. To the guest speaker, your audience, your guest speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I hope I can be heard.
Yes, you can share your screen now again.
Okay. Is the session recorded?
Yes, it's a recorded session.
Oh, okay. That's great. So just a minute, let me share my screen. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for the introduction. So once again, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Selorm Adade. So I'm a GRC professional, or we say a governance, risk and compliance professional. And I also do trainings. So being a youth like all of us, I feel as a way of also showing how I can invest in youth. I suggested this wonderful topic to the executive director, and he bought in, and today we are here to impact. So basically, that's why we are here. Feel free to ask questions along the way. Feel free to talk. Let's talk in the chat box so that at the end of the day, value will be shared. Okay. So today we are coming to talk about one crucial thing that organizations ignore. Majority of us are working. Some of us are in the universities, and some of us are self-entrepreneurs. But there is something that organizations normally ignore, and everybody knows it. we call it company values. So today, I'm going to take you through how organizations can move beyond the walls. So you understand why I say organizations can move beyond the wall. What is the meaning of the concept of moving beyond the wall, and how we can make organizational values stick. So that's what we'll be doing today. We'll appreciate that. So I have a scenario here. I want someone to volunteer to read for me. Anybody who is touched can read this.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to read it.
Okay.
With your permission, I proceed.
Sure.
YIM is 48 hours away from its flagship public summit. A member has spent months preparing a major policy presentation. With event attendance lagging, an executive director demands the member to be removed from the lineup at the last minute and replaced with a popular influencer to boost ticket sales. Quote, the stated value at risk, including and respect. What message does it send?
Thank you. So this is a scenario that I want us all to accelerate now. So the YIM is a Youth Impact Parliament. So Youth Impact Parliament is 48 hours from a major event. So they've done they selected one member to do research, and he's supposed to do a presentation, a groundbreaking presentation that day. But they realized that they are not getting the numbers, they are not getting traction, they are not getting a lot of people. So what did they do? So the executive director said, then in order to boost creativity, in order to boost membership, in order to boost people to come and be interested in the products, then we need to look for one popular person. It could be a local influencer, it could be an artist or anybody. So, but let's assume for Youth Impact Parliament, their value is what? Inclusion and respect. So the question is that, what message does it send? Who can answer me? Let's make it interactive. If you are in this scenario and you are in Youth Impact Parliament and you are the one affected, or you see something like this, what message does it send? Anybody to share?
Okay, so I would like to share my views. I'm Vida.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would say that their value, they don't practice their value, or they don't practice what they are preaching.
Sure.
Because if you are saying pushing and respect, and because of your numbers, you exclude someone without prior notice, maybe the person has already prepared for that particular summit, then out of the blue, you just exclude him or her. It doesn't show respect, and then there's exclusion. So their value, as in they are practicing the direct opposite of their value. So that is how I see it. Thank you.
Powerful. That's great. So that's the essence of today's leadership seminar. We want to shift from this mindset where we move beyond the wall. So we don't want to be in the shoes where, even though engagement is real, they want to boost tickets, they still have to stick to their values. So that's what we are coming to do today. So we move on to what are values. We move on to what are values, and we all know what values are. So when we say core values, they are the DNA of the organization. They are the blueprint. They define what a business or an organization stands for. When you are developing a business, or when you are starting a business, let's say you're an entrepreneur, everybody will do a vision, a mission, a value. You get it? So these are the moral foundations upon which principles are built, or people are expected to behave. So organizations have beautiful values. They have nice values: respect, discipline, accountability, equity, among others. they try to say that these are the things that makes the organization stands. These are the things that make the institution be who they say they are. So we say values define what the organization stands for. They provide the moral foundation upon which principles and behavioral expectations are built. So that is the understanding of value. And I know we know a lot of examples. So these are some common organizational values that are popular around. We have integrity. Some organizations say integrity. So when, let's say, where you are working, your value is integrity, it means that what? The organization is saying that they will do the right thing even when no one is watching. Others say accountability. Others say respect, excellence, teamwork, innovation. So those of us on call, can some of us share some of the values in our organizations or in any group you are in? Let's make it interactive.
Okay, so with Ghana Health Service, one of their values is people-centered. When we say people-centered, yes, it means so people-centered, but it's divided into two. We have the client-centered and then the staff-centered, which is it means that the people, either clients or the staff, are important to them.
Sure,
and we need to be treated very well. You know, Ghana Health Service is a service sector, so we provide service. So it is people we provide the services to. So the clients are everything. Yes, I would put it that way. But staff too should be treated well so that they can also treat the clients also well. Something like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Vida, for your contribution. Who else? Where you work, any group you are in, what are your values? Just state a value and explain. Let's make it interactive. Okay, so these are some common organizational values that we do. So as I said, values are the DNA of the organization. They are what defines organizations. So I have some popular institutions and their values. When you go to their website, this is Star Assurance. So Star Assurance is an insurance firm which talks about protecting. I think my screen is, let me reshare. So we have Star Assurance. So they are, please can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Star Assurance. So Star Assurance is an insurance firm which talks about protecting people when something happens. So you see that, as I said, values define what organization is. So when you look at their values, they said professionalism, innovation, teamwork, winning spirit, ownership. Then we move to Newmont. Newmont is also a mining institution, and their values are safety, because of the nature of the work they do, integrity, sustainability, because of the nature of the work they do, inclusion, responsibility. You get it? So, and we have MTN. MTN values are lead with care, can do with integrity, collaborate with ability, serve with respect, and act with inclusion. Then we have the final one that I have here, which is SNIT. So SNIT values are what? Trust, technology-driven, reliability, user-centric, sustainability, and transparency. Imagine an institution like SNIT where you have to be very vulnerable before you can go for your money. When I say you have to be very vulnerable, it means that you are 60 years and above. Because now that we are all very young, I'm sure if we are going to take our pension money, we'll have that energy to chase it. You get it? But our mothers, our fathers, who are 60 years, some are bedridden, they are very vulnerable. But Smith is telling them that their company value is trust. So don't be worried. You ensure you do your day-to-day activities, work every day. When your time is due for pension, your money is there for you. So that is the essence of values. Values define what organization stands for. It defines the DNA of the organization. So an organization or someone who is starting a business, who have not sat down, apart from doing the vision, apart from doing the mission, you have not sat down to do values, then my colleagues, my brothers, my sisters, we are doing something wrong. Even individually, you have to have personal values. Those personal values, they stand for you, they help you, they protect you when push comes to shove. So these are some of the powerful influences value have. Leadership credibility. Here we're saying the leadership is seen as credible because it is practicing what is expected of them. Employee trust. The workers are aware that these are not negotiables. So when something happens, they trust the institution's resolve. Ethical decision making. They know that when your value is equality, when your value is respect, when your value is fairness, what do? You are able to respect people, you are able to treat people with fair, and you are able to take decisions that are ethical. Discipline, organizational reputation. Everybody wants to work in an organization which says the organization is an equal opportunity employer. Then we say you are an equal opportunity employer. We are talking about organizations that don't discriminate among others. So if you know that, MTN is an equal opportunity employer, this company, Newmount, they do this, you love to be there because that is where everybody wants to go. So doing, they are having a good reputation, and people are very confident in them. So we call it stakeholders, those who have a stake in the business, the shareholders, the investors, employees, public, everybody. So the essence of this is that the first part of what I'm saying is that values are very, very important. So if you are an entrepreneur here or you are working in an institution, assess your institutional values, and at the end of the day, our take home will be whether your institution is practicing the values and what we can do to ensure that they internalize it. So this is the problem I have observed over time. So the problem is that many organizations proudly display values on walls, websites, manuals, and corporate presentations. But members often struggle to see those same values reflected in leadership decisions, workplace behavior, communication, accountability systems, and organizational culture. So this is a problem that is happening everywhere, from academia to the world of work to even religion. We pride ourselves with beautiful words. Even individually, we pride ourselves with personal values. Me, I am empathetic. I am respectful. But when push comes to shove, when there is pressure, we will shrink. So this is something that is occurring over and over again. So many organizations, so when you enter the big organizations, you realize that at the reception, you see their values, very, very beautiful. Or they even put it in a frame. They display it when they are doing marketing, when they go for marketing presentations. As part of the presentation, our values. When you check their website, our values. But the issue is that, are people able to translate these same values in how leaders react, in how decisions are made, in how people behave, in how people communicate, and in how we account or we do reward systems? So the problem is what we say is a very simple problem. We call it the say-do gap. So there is a disconnect between what organizations claim to value and what members actually experience. So what does an organization, or what do you claim to value? You claim to value respect, but you do the opposite. or you, let's say youth impact movement, your values, you claim to value teamwork and you do the opposite. You claim to value leadership and you don't delegate. So these are some of the things that we are talking about. So where there is that disconnect between what you claim to value and what people actually experience, we call it the say-do gap. It is a very, very big gap that is experienced in a lot of places. And these things are even most of the reasons why people leave organizations. And even in now that we are in the Gen Z generations, for them, they are not patient. You get it? So they leave because you told me this and this and this. Then when I entered, I saw that no, I will have to quickly leave because people are not ready for that level of stress. So these are some things that we can take home. When you say people first, but people, there is burnout. Burnout is ignored. So the company says, or the organizations or the movement says, we are people first or people centered. But before the person goes home, the person is tired. You realize that the person is burnout. So you realize that no, what you say is different from what is actually experienced. People say integrity, but when something happens, they allow it to slide. When a staff does something or some special people in organizations do something, they allow it to slide. People say teamwork, they allow it to slide. So instead of promoting teamwork, they reward competition. When your value is teamwork, now you set targets. It's a wonderful dilemma. You write that at my company, my values are teamwork. Then the following day, you go to meeting and you set targets. And you expect the same team to compete to get these targets. People say innovation. At my organization, we support innovative people. We support ideas. Then this person tries something and he's trying to bring out something. And instead of you to accommodate him and tell him that, okay, you did this, there's more room for improvement. You are rather punished for mistakes. Then the person rather holds himself. The person eventually quells. People say respect, but there is fear. So the message is that people trust consistency more than what corporate messaging. So values must be believed in practice. So what is the cost? So the cost of this dilemma is that there is what poor external reputation. So if young people, so here I'm using a youth impact pyramid to break it down. So let's assume youth impact parliament, their value is self-development or improvement. But there are no avenues where members are allowed to express themselves, members are allowed to come out and be bold. But the director says one value is what? Improvement. By the time you enter a youth impact parliament and you are done, you should be able to become the next leader. But people come 1 year, 2 years, they are still at one area or they are still at one side. Then you know that no, there is a gap that we need to solve. So as time goes on, your reputation declines. So if young people outside YIM hear negative stories about internal hypocrisy, it becomes impossible to attract the next generation of leaders or the next generation of hungry youths. High member turnover. So people come with hunger, people come with passion, and they leave because they don't feel respected. And also there could be low participation, and also there could be a lack of trust because there's the assumption that leadership loses its moral authority to govern when they are seen as what? Hypothetical. So when your stated values do not match actual member experiences, the damage is abstract. You see, what I'm talking today is not tangible, but it is the most critical part of leadership, or is the most critical part where any leader or any individual organization must understand. When you understand this, you are solving 60% of leadership issues, because you sit down to craft beautiful values, you sit down to craft beautiful missions. You have to ensure that it's lived. You have to ensure that it is what? Experienced. So these are what we are saying. So we are saying that the essence of organizations creating values are to live them and to internalize them. They are not for posters, they are not for slogans, they are not for branding exercises, they are not for what? Motivational statements. The essence is that these values must be lived. These values must be, how will I say it? They must be experienced. And when they are lived, when they are experienced, that is when people will actually come and experience it and give positive feedback about it to the organization. Any questions? Or you want me to finish before you ask questions? So let's continue. So as I said, values could be seen as what? The foundation of organizational health. They are abstract. They are not tangible. When we say something is abstract, you can feel it. But they are the foundation. They are the basis that makes an organization happy or sad. So when we say an organizational health, we are talking about an organization that is strong, where the turnover is very low and people are happy, engaged. So I'll take you through that. So you see, this relationship value has value influences culture and culture influences performance. Okay, so when an organization has values and they live their values, it automatically influences the way they live. It influences what is normalized over time, and it affects performance in a very, very positive way. So when your values are not lived, when your values are not actually lived or experienced, it becomes a major risk which affects culture, and culture eventually affects what? Performance. So this is some survey I did. When I was doing this research, I went around asking questions, and these are what they said in a layman's language. So someone said, in my company, I wish values are lived. So yeah, the person is trying to say that he feels that where he is working in, they don't live what they say. You guys, so he said, in my companies, I wish values are lived. Another person said, in my company, when I hear accountability, I wish we are all responsible for our actions and outcomes. So yeah, when I was discussing it with the individual, what I realized was they are selective. So they claim they are accountable. You get it? But they are accountable to some particular people. They are not accountable to everyone. So the individual said, when I hear accountability, I wish we are all responsible for our outcomes. And another one said, in my company, I see values as designs, wallpapers. So they do it as like branding. So when you enter, you see it very beautiful. That's all. And another person also said, in my company, I see values as part of proposals for marketing, and it ends there. And these are actual experiences. These are lived experiences that people are going through and people are experiencing. And instead of them to voice it out, they keep quiet and live. and this culture within the organization or this culture within the movement stays. So if in youth impact movement, there is something where members don't experience a certain value, then you need to know that you should speak out. You get it? You have to speak out so that we see the gap and we what? We practicalize it or we internalize it. So they are very, very critical things that we have to take attention to. There is that gap where people feel that if we state the values, members will automatically leave them. So there is that declaration trap where that many organizations assume that if we state the values, members will actually leave them. But you need to understand from today that stated values alone do not transform organizations, okay? The values must be what? Operationalized. So when the value is stated, it doesn't transform the organization. The values must be operationalized. So I have developed an alignment model I called the value alignment model. So this value alignment model is directional, it's one way. So it explains how an organization or a movement or an individual can move from stated intention to what? A sustainable organizational culture. So here we are saying that as an organization, you have to move from understanding what is values to principles, to behaviors, to systems, to culture. So I call it the value alignment model. It is still it's still under construction, it's still under research, but I sat down and developed this that I'll be using to coach organizations that want to move or that want to understand how to build culture in the organization. So I call it the value alignment model. So let me explain it for you to appreciate. So what are values? Values are what organizations claim they matter. You get it? What are principles? Principles are the guiding decisions. So out of values, you get principles. Then from principles, you go to behavior. They are what you observe. Then from behavior, there are systems, policies, rewards, accountability, controls in place. And culture is what becomes normalized over time. So this is it. Let's break it down here. So you see the values. What organizations claim what matters most. So as I said, that is the identity. That is the blueprint of the organizations. So when you sat down, you want to develop a business and you have set your values, why we exist. This is the DNA of the organizations. We value respect. We value customer service. Then out of those values, you develop principles. Okay? Because values alone is not strong. So the principles are the standards that will guide the judgment. So these principles will explain how you interpret the values. You get it? So when you say your values is ethical, you say that what? Or your value is integrity. Then as a principle, the organization must let us know that even under pressure, you must be what? Ethical. So we act ethical even under pressure. We treat people with what? Dignity as a principle. And we take responsibility for our actions and we make it right. So those becomes your principles. So it's the compass that guides our values or that guides how we make decisions. Then out of values and principles, you get to know expected behavior. You get it? So values and principles brings behavior into life, or it makes you see expected. So let's say in Youth Impact Parliament, or as a youth leader, or as someone in the parliament, when you are in a sitting, there is an expected behavior because it is an environment you are, and you know that when you are there, you are supposed to be professional. You are supposed to talk well. You are supposed to have the right decorum. You get it? So there could be a value, there could be a principle. Then there is what? An expected behavior, a way you are supposed to act or the way you are supposed to behave. So we call it behaviors. These behaviors bring values and principles to life. So you speak honestly, you learn with respect, you own your mistakes, and you collaborate. So then you need to have systems in place. And this is the most important part of this model. You get it? The reason why people leave is because of accountability. It's because there are no structures in place. It's because there is no feedback. It's because there is no reward. There is no communication. There is no policy. There is no rules. There is no control. So when you say you are disciplined and you are, or let's say one value is you are customer centric or employee centric. Let's say you think about your employers and something happens to your employer. You have to ensure there are policies or rules and regulations in place that will support the organization, that will support the person. So in order to internalize your value, this is the most critical part of the model. So we are saying that how do you reinforce expected behavior? How do you reinforce principles? How do you reinforce values? You do that by ensuring that there is the right feedback in place, there is transparency, there is accountability, there is recognition. Then the final part of the model is culture. Here, culture becomes what is normalized over time. You get it? So in youth impact parliament, if your value is respect, if your values is teamwork, and what are the systems you've put in place? What are the expected behaviors? What are the principles? So we need to understand the principles. What are your expected behaviors? So that I'm not sure if your values are respect, you tolerate someone, a member, talking anyhow to another member on floor. You tell the member that there should be decorum. So if there should be decorum, what are the principles or the rules and regulations you have put in place when one step the two? So when you don't do the right thing as a leader, that becomes the culture. And that culture is normalized and it stays. And when that culture stays, you are not able to do anything. So the outcome is what? The collective identity and the legacy of the institution. So you see that people come within a week, they figure out how the youth, the membership is, or they come within a month, they figure out, oh, I thought when I come here, I will experience this. But when I came here, I realized that what they say is different from what I feel. So this place is not a good place for me. So let me go. So as youth leaders, we need to understand why people experience that gap and see the way and see the plans we can put in place in order to support leaders, because we are all leaders on this call. Once you are in this powerful group, it means that you are a leader. And I also want you to appreciate engagement, the importance that values have on engagement. You see, we have 3 types of people in any organization, and even in youth impact parliament, we have 3 types of people. We have people who are engaged, we have people who are disengaged, and we have people who are actively engaged. So as I'm talking to you, ask yourself, put yourself in one of these areas. When someone is engaged in a movement, a person believes in a vision and will try his possible best to let the thing succeed. Something happened to make that person engage. When someone is disengaged, the person used to believe in a vision, But now the passion has come down, and you see it as what? An exchange of time for a paycheck or for something. So that drive was, the drive they had is gone. Then we have those who are actively engaged. Those people, don't near them. They what? Those who complain. When you are working, you meet people. This is the first time you are coming to work. You are coming to orientation. Then the first person you meet say, you are coming here. I've been here for 5 years and I've been suffering. But the person that has been here for 5 years is still there. He has not left. But the new person that is coming, he's telling the person that, what are you doing here? You will not go. You get it? So those people, they are actively disengaged. They will tell anyone who will listen to them. So when they see that this person has a listening ear, quickly they tell them their fears, their problems, among others. So one reason why someone can be engaged, disengaged, or actively disengaged is when the person realizes the organization doesn't promote its values. So sometimes an organization, it is not about incentives. It is not about perks. It is not about slogans. It's about the tangible evidence that what you say is what you replicate. When you say you are respectful, you don't show respect to some particular people. When you say you treat everybody fairly, you have to ensure that you treat everybody fairly. Just that statement that you've made on your website, that in my organization or in Youth Impact, what we do is we want you to become the leader of tomorrow. Okay? Then the person comes and realizes that instead of the person becoming a leader of tomorrow, the person is becoming a follower of tomorrow. The person will leave. So we need to understand all these things and know where best will be placed. Any question? Or I should is there?
Yeah, continue.
Okay. I hope it's
very, very educative. Don't say it. Continue.
Okay, thank you. So I'm linking the values to my model, the value alignment model. So as I was saying, values are intangible. You can't feel it, it's abstract. So you see that linking it to the model, when there is that level of engagement increases when the employees experience what? Fairness. When they experience, I've already talked about this already. So when they experience the values, they are happy, they are engaged. So Youth Impact Movement, I want us to, if you have members who have left the group or they are no more engaged, they are disengaged, let us check on some things. Maybe we could be part of the problems. You never know. It's very, very critical. And these things, people won't tell you. You get it? People won't tell you. So these are some of the things that we have to know. So I move on to another critical discussion, the 4 tests of organizational values. So as I said, how will, you see, MTN will say lead with care. MTN will say technological. Let me show you the values of MTN. Let me go back. So these are the values of MTN. Everybody, maybe majority of us have used MTN or experienced MTN before. So I want to use a popular example. So MTN may say lead with care, can do with integrity, collaborate with agility, serve with respect, act with inclusion. But there are, when there is a problem or when you want to see whether they actually say what they do, then we can use this to judge them. We call it the 4 tests of organizational values. Leadership behavior. What leaders tolerate, reward, and model. decision making, how choices are made under pressure, accountability, whether standards apply equally to everyone, communication culture, whether people feel safe enough to speak. Okay, so these are some 4 key areas is that you can test whether the organization, so Youth Impact Parliament, whether you are living your values or you are not living your values. We need to know. So leadership is the heart or the heartbeat of what? Implementation. Leadership is the heartbeat of implementation. It is very, very critical for us to know that as a leader or as someone leading a movement or someone who wants to become the next president, the next minister, or the next person to read a policy, to develop a groundbreaking initiative, or the next person to impact his locality, you have personal values. How you communicate, how you respond to pressure, how you treat people, how you handle mistakes. It is not about speeches. It is not about, which word will I use? Rambo style approaches. Okay. When we are talking about leadership, it is, and in terms of internalizing your values, we are talking about how the leader communicates, how the leader responds to pressure, how the leader treats people, and how the leader handles mistakes. So ask yourself which type of person you are. So we are saying that leaders must what? Model values consistently. They must make values visible in decisions. They must reward aligned behavior. They must address misalignment early. Be bold, come out. When there are issues, come out and talk. They must align systems with values. They must communicate expectations clearly and also act decisively under pressure. So as a leader, we need to appreciate all these key areas in order to know. So I developed this quote. I said, pressure does not create culture. Pressure reveals culture. Anywhere I go, I say that pressure, it does not create culture. It reveals the heart of the organization. It reveals the true character of the person. Okay? When things are sweet, when things are beautiful, it is easy to promote values. It is easy to say that me, I am respectful. It is easy to say that I am obedient. I am fair. I don't shout. I don't do this. But when there is pressure, that is where the real test begins. So the real test happens when targets are threatened, profit is going down, deadlines tighten, mistakes occur, profits decline, pressure increases. You get it? That is when you know which type of leader you are. Or as Youth Impact Parliament, that is where you know whether your organization has a culture. Or that is where you know what is normalized over time. So pressure does not create culture. Pressure reveals culture. So under pressure, what do you choose? Do you choose convenience over integrity? Do you choose silence over accountability? Do you choose speed over quality? Do you choose control over collaboration? We need to appreciate all those things. So if you value speed, if you value respect, okay, under pressure, do you switch the cards? That is how we internalize value. That is where you see whether what you say is different from what you do. And also, someone may ask, when there are issues and there are two values, what do you do? Let's say your organization, you value speed. You also value integrity. In issues like this, you prioritize, but it's not that you are internalizing the act. If it is values you choose the one on the scale of preference. So where two values collides, you seek prioritization. So let's say speed versus integrity, winning versus inclusion, individual leadership versus teamwork. An organization's true values are defined by the worst behavior it tolerates. So youth impact parliament, what are the worst behaviors that you are tolerating? If there are some activities that members are doing, like today being a training that I feel would be very beneficial for all of us, then everybody couldn't be on the call, then what are the things? So there should be those model structures in place to ensure that accountability, so that those that came will say that, oh, even when I came, there was no penalty, or there was no this thing that the leadership team did. So these are the things that we are saying, that what the organizations tolerate, what they tolerate is what is the culture, or what is normalized over time. So in order for us to shift from values to principles to expected behavior to systems to culture, we have to ensure that we go through this direction. So the next time I engage with you guys, I hope we can practicalize some of these activities. So we move on to the roadmap. So as I was saying, there should be that acknowledgement that no organizations get culture rights all the time. Okay, strong cultures are not built without mistakes, but if you are willing to repair, if you are willing to grow, if you are willing to understand that what you say is not what you actually experience, then you are on the road. So for the roadmap to implementing your values, we have to follow the model where we define our values clearly. We translate these values into principles. We define expected behavior. We let them align with systems, processes, motivation, accountability, reward, communication. You train, and you measure. For today's lessons, I'm not taking you through how we measure values. So the next time I'm giving this opportunity again, I'll take you through how you can measure values. You can add it to your assessment, you can model, you can reward, among others. But in order to internalize your value, this roadmap is universally accepted. So let us take note of it. So we are saying that what future is youth impact movement rehearsing? What future as a leader that you are rehearsing? Every organization culture reinforces a future culture. The everyday choices we do today, the trust the leaders who have on you, tomorrow's leaders will have on you, or the trust that employees have on you tomorrow, the resilience of the organization, the sustainability of leadership credibility. What future are you rehearsing? When we are looking for new members for youth impact movement, we have to suffer, or the next time we call for membership, we have people who will say, yes, when they came to be members of parliament, when they came into the Senate, they had the actual experience, they became the leaders they wanted to be. Or as a leader, wherever you work, you are sure that you are imparting people, you are leading people, and also you are moving the next generations. So to leave us with, this is some commitments that we can ask yourself, what is one behavior that you feel you can change or start within the next 7 days? So there should be a personal reflection. There should be a personal reflections, and the checkers are there to support you. Please, I hope I'm clear. Okay. So the checkers are there to support all of us on the personal reflection. If there is one system or process that you feel you want to audit, please, it's very, very vital to do that audit. Or if there is one person you want to hold accountable, including yourself, what are the next steps that you want to take? What are the next steps that you want to take? So we are saying that organizational values do not become real because they are written beautifully, okay? They become real when leaders like us choose them consistently, especially when doing it becomes what? Uncomfortable. Leadership is not comfortable. Look at how some of the decisions some of our leaders take. You realize that those decisions is not within their heart, but they have to take those decisions when they are doing demolitions. When the flood occurred, there were decisions that were supposed to be taken prior, but because those decisions were not taken, these are the repercussions. So if the country has a value, a country value as sanitation, you get it. And I'm not sure Ghana will be facing what? Flooding, because there will be bold decisions that will be taken and we will not suffer. So they become real when leaders what? Consistently choose them, especially when doing so becomes what? Uncomfortable. When values move beyond the walls and everyday behavior, trust grows, accountability deepens, culture becomes healthy, and organizations become more sustainable. And that is what is normalized over time. That is the most important reflection that we have to take. So to end my presentation, Youth Impact Movement is a wonderful group. We are not just managing a group today. You are not just joining a movement today. I'm telling you that we have to understand that this movement will outlive us. Okay, so you need to make your mark and tell your parliamentarians or other youth leaders that you were here, you were in the cradle stage, you were in the middle stage, you were in that stage. So you are building a movement that will outlive your tenure. So the systems and behaviors you normalize today, what you tolerate today, what the Senate tolerates today, or what the parliamentarians tolerate today, is what will shape the next 5 years, the next 10 years, the next 20. So if you tolerate decorum, if you tolerate professionalism, if you tolerate empathy, if you tolerate respect, equality, accountability, responsibility, then you have to know that this tolerance will also shape the culture, what is normalized over time for the next cohort, for the next batch, for the next sitting. So please, we need to move beyond the walls, okay? We need to stop saying we do this and we don't do that. So if you live your values consistently today, we create a self-sustainable culture of excellence. Thank you very much for joining today's presentation. My name is Selorm Adade. So I'm a governance, risk and compliance professional. I'm also hoping for partnerships and collaborations. Thank you.
Wow, that was a very detailed one there. Thank you very much, Sir Selorm, for educating us all. Colleagues, the floor is open for questions. Just raise your hand and I'll call you to ask your question. Questions, please. If you don't understand something, you need clarity, you need advice, explanation, just raise your hand and I'll call you. Okay, someone raise his hand. Yes, talk line.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity. And thank you, Mr. Adade, for sharing this insight with us. Now, my question is, when you were talking about engagement and disengagement at workplace, for a person to move from disengagement to engagement or active engagement, what roadmap will the fellow take? And one, can it be internal or external influence? Thank you so much.
Selorm. Okay, let's take the second question from Siabonga and Zima from South Africa.
Thank you very much. That was very informative. And it was great. My question is, it's on accountability, especially on how to create accountability, or make accountable those seniors maybe who neglects the values of the organization and stands to behave otherwise and ending up taking the same behavior like even in other members who are close to them, because it can happen in a company that a senior manager is close to some worker, and that worker now he is becoming something else in the company or in the organization. And now you can't report that because the lines of communication or the channels of communication will eventually go through to the same person that is promoting the bad behavior and undermining the values of the company that you yourself, you've joined the organization of the company, thinking that they are upheld and they are held into priority. So how then will you report such behavior? And which line of communication will you use to that will at least bypass the same person, so that you will end up not being fired or being taken out of that organization that you are in? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the first question, you talked about disengagement. If I may get you right, you said internal and external. The disengagement, is it internal or external? Or how do you move the person from disengagement to engagement? Is that it?
Yes, that's it. So how the factors that will move a person from this engagement to engagement. Thank you.
Oh yeah. So for engagement, as I said, we have the tangibilities, abstract. So what I did was the abstract. You can feel it. You get it. So what I did was abstract. The abstract things that we cannot feel, but when we are putting it on a weight, they carry more weight or they carry more skill. So to move someone from disengage to engage, it cannot come from, it should be the leader. So let's say if you are the leader, then you first have to ensure, like the model I presented, your accountability structures is solid. Your reward structures are in place. There is feedback. There is what? Monitoring, and there is recognition. So we have to tackle the root cause. So why is the person not satisfied? Or why is the person not engaged? It could be something tangible or it could be something abstract. So when we know that it is tangible, then we target it. When we know that it is abstract, then we target it. So if it is abstract, then you talk about values. Maybe the person feels you treated him unfairly, or he was due promotion, you didn't promote him, or in the organization, there is no speak up culture. So as soon as you talk, there is a problem. Do you get it? So then you know the type of people you are dealing with. So as the leader, you have to ensure in place. And that systems is what becomes the culture, and that becomes normalized over time. So if the systems are in place, they reinforce whether the person can be engaged or disengaged. But on that engagement scale, someone can move from actively engage to disengage, or someone can move from disengage to engage. But it is what the leader must do differently that will make the person move. I hope I'll be able to answer your question or help you. Okay, thank you. And Siabonga talked about how to create accountability. So for what you said, it's a problem that is happening in organizations. There are issues, then we are not able to, because when you report, it goes to the same person. For that, you can't do anything about it. That's what I will tell you. Then that is my school of thought, that if the leader doesn't seize the problem, then you a member in an organization cannot influence, because in the long run, it will come to the person unless there is another person ahead of the person. But if that leader is the final person, it becomes a challenge. But if, let's say, it is a team where there are peers or people that you can also look to, so that you will not go to this person and then you are okay. But if that leader is the final leader, then that for that issue, it will always recur. And that is where people become intimidated. There is no speak up culture. They are not able to blow whistle blowing. Or when something happens, they keep quiet. And when the thing spoils, that is where they start to talk. So it is a very, very critical issue. But for us on the call now, we have to ensure that we create the structures where when something happens, we ensure that we are visible with our actions. And when you are visible with your actions, that becomes the culture, and that becomes normalized over time. Please, I hope I've been able to address the question. I hope I've been able to address the question. Okay, thank you.
I think you're satisfied. Yeah, so colleagues, any other questions? Any other questions? Vida, Edmond, Mano, do you have any other questions? Okay. In the absence of any further questions, I invite the guest speaker to give us his closing remarks.
Okay. So thank you all for listening to this. So as I said in my closing remarks as part of the trading, I'm charging all of us to know that we are not building, this movement is not something that is a one-time thing. It's a legacy movement, which we all one day say we're part of this. We're part of the cradle stage, or we're part of the genesis. So for you to brag, for you to be able to tell people that when it started, you were part of this movement, you were once a member of parliament, then you moved to a senate, or you became the executive director or deputy director, and through these sessions, you moved to become an MP in maybe an MP in Accra or anywhere, or even move to become the president of Ghana. It is what you normalize today. Okay, so what are you normalizing? What are you tolerating? That is the true culture of Youth Impact Parliament. So if this is I think he mentioned that this is the 33rd seminar. So you realize that the director believes in development, in improving the personal development of members. So that is what he's tolerating. So we have to ensure that we all come together to support the vision, so that in 5 years' time, when you are not here, you'll be proud to say that I was here, Sam. So let us not see, or let us internalize the values of Youth Impact Parliament. Let us be professional in all we do, and I'm sure we'll all meet at the top. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, our guest speaker. Today has been a very educative session, and we thank you all for joining. And he has spoken the truth. We are committed to personal development and capacity building. That is why we are doing this, because what we are doing, we don't get paid for doing it. It is clearly voluntary, but it is a passion to ensure that we all rise to the top together. That is why we are doing this exact thing we are doing. There are other youth groups who are doing this as a full business portfolio, and they are getting paid real time, but we don't have interest in exploiting people who want to build their capacity. And that is the same thing we say to everyone, because they need to understand the vision in order to play their roles. So on that note, I want to thank Mr. Selorm Adade for coming on board to share with us this knowledge. This is a training that he gets paid to do, honestly. He gets paid to do this, but he has decided to do it for us benevolently. So on behalf of Youth Impact Movement and its branches, we extend our warmest gratitude to you for this honor you have done us. And to all the participants who have joined the live session, thank you so much. And to those who are watching after the recording, we also thank you as well. Development is a personal commitment, and you have to be committed to building your own capacity. And we thank you all for joining. On this note, may I call on? Okay, I'll just give the prayer myself. Our closing prayer. Father Lord, we thank you so much for today. As you have ended this session, I call on you to give health and wealth and life to our guest speaker and subsequent speakers, so that they shall deliver unto us the knowledge of which you have given for the empowerment and growth of this humanity. Amen. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.